All right, guys. Thanks for logging on here, and welcome to Super Saturday website training. This video is being recorded specifically for a website training for churches, teaching you how to use WordPress to make an awesome church website. This is for Super Saturday's website training that the State Convention of Baptists in Indiana is putting on. Now, for those of you that attended the Super Saturday training here, this first bit of content it will be something that you have already seen before, so you can feel free to skip over. But for the benefit of those who weren't there, I want to briefly go through this again. So the first thing that we're going to do is sort of look at some general principles in regards to websites and why we do what we do. And then I'm going to show you some examples of that in real life, some great church website examples. And then we'll start to talk about how to build it. And so we'll try to keep this to an hour or so if we possibly can here. But the great thing about video is you can go back and edit this at just rewind this at any time. So I'll go through some things pretty fast. If you want to see them again, that's the great thing about video. You can just sort of go back. I'm Pastor Michael Wilhite. I pastor New Hope Baptist Newton in Newtonville. NewHopeNewtonville.org is the website that I'll be showing you some things on today that I've put together and kind of helping you work through some of those own things there for you. So let's sort of dive right into it. Everybody has seen websites that look like this, right? I'm not going to make fun of somebody else's website, but honestly, this is obnoxious, is it not? This is a website that stuck, back in the early 2000s, late 1990s. This looks like straight out of 1997, something like that, when the website was just beginning. And I don't have it alive pulled up. It's a screenshot here on this PowerPoint that I'm going through. If I had it pulled up for you, these neon rainbow colors would just be dancing all over the place, and honestly wouldn't have somebody who has seizures look at it, because it's enough to give you seizures if you don't. This is an example of what not to do. This is a bad church website, but you're not here to look at a bad church website. But in order to talk about good church websites, we need to dissect some things that make bad websites so that we can avoid them. And then we'll talk about some things that need to go on a website. So first, let's talk about 7 deadly sins, if we can, of church websites. So the very first thing that I would say off here is that a deadly sin of a church website is a website that is outdated in both design and content. I just showed you a great example of outdated in design. It looks like it was, this is, the earliest of church websites, and it just never moved on. Designs have moved on since then, but that church website has not. And you know as well as I do that those church types of websites out there still exist, but maybe not necessarily to as extreme ugly as that one is, but those kinds of websites out there still exist. But another thing that's even more important than that is if your website is outdated in content. So if you've got, for example, events on your website that occurred 3 years ago, what you've just communicated to people that come to your website is, well, this church just doesn't really care about updating their website. What else do they care about? And that's just sort of one of those bad signs that you look and think, I don't know if I really want to go to this church. Thing about it is, if you're trying to design a website, you always have to put yourself in the mindset of what a visitor would say. We used to have front doors for visitors to come through, right? And we would hand them literature about our church. Well, this is your website is like a virtual front door. And most people are going to find your website before they ever come into your building for the first time. All right. They're going to look you up on Google Maps and see where you are. And they're going to, or Apple Maps if they're on their iPhone. And they're going to look at your website or search for it. And they're going to try to check out your website first. So if your website is outdated, not only in your design, but the content is not staying up to date on it, you're going to lose some people that way. Another thing that makes it a terrible church website is if your service times are just not even on there, or they're hard to find. And you would think, boy, this ought to be just about one of the most basic of things that you can do. Indeed, it is. But you would be surprised how many church websites struggle with this. I've looked at a lot of even good church websites, the ones that have nice designs, as I was studying for this presentation and what to show you. And there are even some decent-sized churches that get it wrong. and just make it very hard to find service times. Don't be like that. Same way with the physical address. If it's hard to find or non-existent, listen, your service times and your location, those are like the two most important things you can put on a church website, because people need to know how to find you and when they ought to show up. And if they can't do that, your website has just completely failed. All right. Another thing, not enough information on childcare. Well, if you don't put enough information on childcare, on what options are available for you, for parents during the worship services and things, you're going to lose some people. You've lost your millennials if you don't do this, for example. Most millennials are very concerned that their children are going to be well taken care of by volunteers in the nursery that are going to love them and that are not criminals and have had background checks and all of these basic things that we ought to be doing as a church. And so if you don't have any information on your child care or not enough information about what it's going to be like, you could end up losing some people. What about minimal information on church staff? Some people, all they have is just a text listing of who the pastor is, and an email, and that's it. Well, not a great thing. Your pastor is going to be the first connection that person's going to have. And so they've seen a picture of your pastor. They've seen what he looks like and maybe what his family looks like. And they've read a little biography. They start to feel maybe just a little bit connected. Your pastor is probably going to be one of those first ones at the door that they're going to meet back there greeting people. So you've made that point of connection. Have that. Bad church websites don't have enough information on there. Another thing that we might say is no place to listen to recent sermons. Now, I know not every church is going to have the ability to do this, but if you have the ability to place sermons on your website, you want to do it. It doesn't have to be video sermons. It could just be sermon audio. And that's easier to do than what one thinks. You may say, well, my sound system that we have at church here, we can't really do that. But listen, you can get little, I've got a little sermon recorder that's about the size of a small remote control that I set on the pulpit with me. It's just a Sony IC recorder is what it's called. I forget what model number it is here. I'm getting it out of my desk to show you right now. It's an IC recorder, ICD-PX333. And it's just a great little thing. It's a digital recorder. And all I have to do is turn it on and I hit the record button whenever I'm ready to start my sermon. And I'll turn it on and I'll hit it and I'll put it on the pulpit beside me and leave it alone until I'm done. And I'll say, take your Bibles and open up to the book of 1 Timothy chapter 1 or wherever it is I'm preaching from. And whenever I'm done, all I do is hit the stop button and there it is. And it's made an MP3 for me on that recorder, and all I have to do is upload that to the website if I want. It's going to be a large file. You can run it through a free program like Audacity to reduce the file size down and make it smaller and easier to download without sacrificing quality. But regardless, right there is an easy thing that you can do. And there are multiple ways that you can get your sermons on your website. I'm going to show you one of those here with this. But having no sermons on the website is sort of a bad thing. No statement of faith. And you might say, well, most people aren't going to want that. Well, if the unchurched people are probably not going to care that much. You're right. But what about those people who are new to your community that are Christians already and they're looking for a church because they've just moved in? Well, if they don't know what you believe, then that might make it hard for them. So that's just some things. Another thing that we have to consider is a mobile friendly website. It used to be that mobile was not much of anything that we had to worry about because it was such a small share of the market. But you know as well as I do that mobile websites account for more than what desktops do. In fact, there's a good chance that many of you watching this, even right now, are watching this from your YouTube app on your mobile phone. All right. Let me show you the statistics on this. Right now, this is the latest that we could find from Stone Temple. They do this research. 63% of website visits now come from mobile phones. All right. 63%. It was 57% in 2016. The 2018 data is not going to come out until early next year because they have they'll have the whole year's worth of data. It's going to rise again. I wouldn't be surprised if it's closer to 70% by the time 2018. This is growing by leaps and bounds. So only 37% of visitors to your website are going to be visiting on a desktop computer. That means you have to make sure that your website is absolutely mobile friendly. What's the difference? Here's an example. New Hope Baptist Church of Newtonville. This is the church that I pastor, newhopenewtonville.org, and I will show it to you in just a minute. But here's the difference. On your left, there's what the desktop website looks like. On the right, there is what your mobile website looks like. And then I'll just show you one more little screenshot here as well. Let me drag it over here. And you can see there's another view of this. You can see this little button right here is the menu button. You click that, and it has a nice little dynamic menu that stays on the side with it. And so no matter where you scroll up and down on this, that menu is always there for you to click on to be able to navigate with it very, very easily. So that's the difference between a mobile website. And again, as I said, the mobile websites are now getting the lion's share of views as compared to the desktop. So you want to make a desktop website, you want to make it look good on the desktop, but you really want to make it look great, and you want to make it look best on the mobile, because that's where most of your people are going to be. All right, so really quickly then, here, let's take about 5 minutes and talk about content before we dive into the nuts and bolts of building a website. So let's talk about content. What is it? What are the things that we need on a website? First off, if you're going to build a website, excuse me, I had to get a drink of water there. You need to know your audience. All right. So who's going to visit your church website? All right. So let's just think about this with me. Who is it going to be that visit your website? Well, let me just say that there's probably going to be about 2 types of people that are going to visit your website. Number 1, it'll be people who already attend your church, or number 2, it'll be people who might attend your church. And if you are a smaller church like mine is, for example, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be those who might attend your church that are going to be the ones that are visiting. And let me just ask you this and say why. Well, think about it. In a small church, my church runs 30 to 40 people on a given Sunday. We're not a big church. We're growing, but we're not huge by any means. We're in the middle of nowhere. We're a small country church. So you're not going to ever see New Hope be 200, 300, 400 people, because we don't have 200 or 300 people that live right around the church. We're in the middle of nowhere here. So it's a very practical thing in with that. In a small church like ours, though, the information is right there in the bulletin, and it's right there on the announcements and the slides that run on the pre-announcement slides before our service and all of that. And you know, everybody knows what's going on because there's only a small number of people in our churches. Now, in a larger church, if you start to get up to a mega church and you got 2,000 plus, well, yes, you're going to have a lot of your regular attenders that are visiting your website to know what's going on, because you don't have it as small and as personalized with that. And so you can expect that. But for most of us, most churches aren't going to be 2,000. And honestly, if you're a church of 2,000, you're probably not even watching this video right now anyway, because you've got money to hire somebody professionally to do it, so you don't even have to do it yourself. You're watching this video because you're a small church, probably, and you don't have the money to pay somebody to do it, and you want to do it yourself, and you want to do a website well for the glory of God and to save money. You're probably going to fall in that second category. Most of the people who visit your website are people who only might attend your church. So as a result of that, we need to focus it on them. All right. We'll talk more about that in a second. Here's the way, as I said earlier, think of your church website as the virtual front door of your church. It used to be that visitors would look at your church sign outside and just find the information on your church site and decide to stop by sometime. People look at your website now, and your website is now, you know, all those pamphlets that you used to make to hand out to first-time visitors, that's your website now. So you want to do that up and do that well. So let's talk about some practical content tips. Let me give you 3 of them real quick. First off, keep it brief. People don't read websites like they do books. All right. You don't need to have the equivalent of 20 pages of text, of books worth of text here on your About Us page. You want to provide the essential content, but don't overwhelm with it. You also want to keep it current. As I said, not just your design, but you want to keep the content on it. So if you've got outdated information on there from 3-4 years ago, or even 3 or 4 months ago, that looks bad on you when a visitor visits your website and says, they don't really take care of things around here. They're making a first impression based on your website that may not be true about your church. You may take very good care of your church. It just might be an oversight, but you don't want to give that. So you always want to keep your information current there, and then keep it easy. So you want to make finding things on your site super easy. You want to be extremely organized. Link every bit of content from your main menu. Be sure to cross-link those related pages and the content for easy navigation. I'll show you some examples of what I mean by that here in a little bit. What are then those essential church website things that we need on there? Again, location and service times. Those are the 2 biggies. Those are the most important things that you have to have on there. Put them in multiple locations. Make them easy to find. We'll talk about that in a second. You need something that's an About Us section so that people know kind of what your church is like. A good way to label this is just label on I'm new, because again, you want to work this and put yourself in the mind of a first-time visitor who is coming to your church and doesn't know anything. And so About Us sounds very passive, and it sounds, well, it sounds us-focused, but you're saying I'm new. Now you're guest-focused. See the difference in the wording there? It's just a psychological thing, but it just helps them to connect with the information a little bit better. And under that I'm new tab, and I'll show you on the website that I've built for my church what I'm doing there. That's where you put important things on there that would be need to know for somebody that's new. So what to expect might be a good thing to put underneath of the I'm new section. What are our services like? How long are our services? What should I dress? Are jeans church clothes, or do most of your people wear suits and ties and dresses? All right. Put those kinds of things on there so that they sort of know what to expect. Put your child care information on here as well, so they know if I bring my children with me, is there going to be children's church, or will there be a nursery? And are there going to be qualified volunteers staffed and things like this? You want to put a what we believe section on there too. It doesn't have to be terribly long, but you want to put something on there about what the church believes. And again, lost people looking for your website probably not going to care about that as much. But for those who are looking for a new church because they've moved into the community and they're already Christians, very important for them. Put your staff profiles on there. Who's your pastor or your associate pastors and such? Who might your deacons be? Your church secretary? Things like this. Put pictures with them if you can. You want to have some information there about your ministries and your events. And so if you've got special events that are coming up, you're using your website is a great way to advertise those, to connect other people, into there. Again, your sermons, if you have them. And if you have video sermons, fantastic, but most of us are not going to have video sermons. You can do audio sermons. That's perfectly just fine. And then, of course, it seems going without saying, but contact information. How can they get in touch with you if they have further questions? It seems like this would be just one of those things that, would be a no-brainer, but goodness gracious, it's so often overlooked that it's really quite amazing here. So, all right, let's get into that. That's the PowerPoint that I had. That I presented in a longer form at the Super Saturday training, but that's just sort of the basics of it there. So let me start to show you how all this puts together into practice here. All right. So again, the essential website content. This is what we're looking at. Location, service times. I'm new. What to expect, what we believe, staff, ministries, events, sermons, contact information. There's much more that could go on here. This is just the things that I think that you absolutely need to have. Let's look at that first one, location. All right. Well, this is the New Hope Baptist Church in Newtonville's website. This is the one this is the church that I pastor. This is me baptizing a gentleman named Josh. And so if I scroll down here, you can kind of get a feel for what that website is like. And again, if you want to visit it, it's newhopenewtonville.org, as you can see right up here. Well, where's our location at? Well, right up here in the top, there it is, right there from the get-go. It doesn't stay with you as you scroll through on the entire screen, but right there it is on the top. Contact information is there too. There's church email, which is just my personal email there. That you can contact me at, and you can contact me that if you're watching this video and you have questions and want to reach out to, you're welcome to. Church phone number is on there as well. And so you've got that. Service times. You scroll down a little bit, you see here's our announcements sliders, and so I'm currently preaching through the book of 1 Timothy. There's some information about that, a movie night that we're going to have. Sunday nights, we're doing the Gospel of Matthew. We're having a revival. We're having an apologetics workshop coming up in January. And so all of those things are on this form of a slider. Right below that in big wording there, Sundays, 10:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. That's our two service times. Right there again, that is. And if you click on either of these, that takes you to a When Do We Meet page and gives you the details of it as well. Also on that homepage, I got a welcome video on here, and it just sort of is a personal greeting from me that sort of gives people a little bit of what they can expect about it, and a picture of our church down here. And I put a picture of our church intentionally on one of our higher Sundays. If you're going to take pictures, use good pictures of your church. Make sure you use them with your higher Sundays. All right. Make sure that you don't want it on one of those days where half the congregation is sick. It's not a great day to take pictures of your congregation. So make sure it's one of your bigger Sundays, and make sure it conveys what your congregation is like. And mine you have a mixture of people that dress up and dress down. So you got a gentleman back here in a t-shirt and some ladies here in nicer shirts. But then you got, a suit coat there and a jacket right there and a tie on this gentleman over here and a dress on this lady right here. And so, it's a mixture of things at my church. We'll show pictures that make it authentic and show that then. Your I'm new about us right here is your I'm new, right on your menu up at the top. All right. And, again, here's this little thing. You got the menus are the same, but you got two different options. And there's your I'm new right up at the top over here. And this one, of course, this menu stays with you so that even if you scroll down, you've always got that, which is why I put this on there. All right. And so under the I'm new, I've put things like, well, who is New Hope? Who are we? When and where do we meet? So there's your contact information, your location, service times, all that again. What can I expect? Which is the next thing that's on there. What's church like? What can I expect? Well, if you click on the what can I expect, you take it out here. We're a jeans friendly church. Come as you are. Jeans are church clothes for us. And so I've got that. There's the welcome video again. And again, I say don't be a book, but I know this is a little bit long, but it's not as long as it could be. But here's some, just some basics of what you can expect when you come there. A casual atmosphere, fun, safe environment for kids where we've talked about our kids ministry and what we do. We've talked about the practical teaching and the relationships that you'll find, things like that. Cross-linking. Remember I said cross-linking is important? Come check us out. We'd love to have you as a guest. Find out when and where we meet here. If you have specific questions, contact our pastor. You click this, takes you to the contact page. It has a contact form you can fill out. You click this, it goes right over to the when and where do we meet page. And there it is. And there's all of our Sunday school and Sunday worship times, our prayer and Bible study on Wednesdays. Here's a description of how to get there. And here it is on Google Maps so that they can, if they're logged in, they can even start on Google Maps and get directions and find us. And again, that is just, this particular page right here underneath of this menu. And then of course I've got the Who is New Hope as well. Again, more cross-linked things on here, and it just tells you a little bit about who we are. There's the service times and a picture of our building. And so all I've done with this literally is I've just put myself in the mind of a new guest. What is it that they would want to know? And I've kind of put these things on there. There's what do we believe. And again, if you're going to do a what do we believe, then make sure that you get it on there. Ours is long because our statement of faith is the Baptist Faith and Message 2000. That's the official doctrinal statement of the Southern Baptist Convention. We're a Southern Baptist church. We've just adopted that. So all I did was put that on here. But through each one of these, I've got a little picture here, as you'll notice, just to kind of break up things a little bit more. And there's scripture references all throughout that. Well, again, not everybody is going to care so much about that, but some of those who are looking will want to. Well, staff profiles. Here's my pastor's page, the pastor, and I've also got the deacons on here. And so I've got a good picture in my Sunday best of me and my wife and my daughter. This was Easter this year. I just put that nice picture on there. There's a little blurb about me. And then here I am with my 3 deacons, and I've got them mentioned down in what they do as well there. So we don't have a church secretary like some of you guys may do. So again, just that. Now, what about our ministries? Well, we go back up here. I've got a greeting, and I got a little bit about our history if people really want to know. All right. This plug-in section. Well, this is basically our ministries section. This is kind of what we do. It's how to get involved. I named it plug in because, listen, that's just a nice action word for it. So I've got this. You click on opportunities for growth. And with opportunities for growth, there I've got a nice picture of the church in a fellowship meal up there so that you can tell right off the bat, it puts you at ease. We're a church that loves to just get together and love on each other and eat and fellowship together. And I've talked about, our life groups that we have, our Sunday schools and small groups and things, church movie nights. We have an annual chili cook-off and apologetics workshop where I teach a specific thing each year, different with that. Coming up in January, it'll be biblical archaeology. Does archaeology prove some of the things were true in the Bible? We do Operation Christmas Child every year, and so I've got some pictures of the shoeboxes that we've collected and assembling now. I talk about our prayer meeting. We talk about some of the things that we do with our kids ministry and the VBSs that we do, men's and women's groups, all that kind of stuff up there is an opportunity. That's our ministries, if you will. And then our events get plugged in under here. On another section here, I've got an upcoming events. And so there's the 2 that I've got on there right now. Again, that information's on there. Sermons are right here as well. And then, of course, there's contact information. And, the contact information always up here at the very top if they want that too. But then there's a contact form right there that they can do. And then there's our location and address and phone and email and all that stuff on there too. Again, what you want to do is just find multitudes of ways. Now, I've also got a FAQ section here, frequently asked questions. So here's where I have the gospel message. Who is Jesus? Should I be baptized? And I've just put some common faith questions and just some answers that unbelievers or visitors who aren't connected with a church yet would maybe want to know. And so I've got that information that I've collected and put on there, and just in a way, I've striven to try to get the website to be the best that it can for somebody who is sort of a first time. And then my sermons are on here as well. If I click on sermons, it actually goes over to my pastor's blog page, which you may not want to do this, or you might, but my sermon audio is on that. I use this as a blog to be able to do some blog posts about sermons that I have done and upcoming, and I'll use this in the near future whenever we're starting a church Bible reading plan as a church, and so we'll have that. I'll have a daily post on there about our Bible reading plan and things. So kind of multi-use. You may not necessarily have that, but the sermons. I've got all my sermons that I do, and it's just audio on there. And so I'm starting on 1 Timothy this Sunday, which is why it's not here yet. I just finished up a series on the minor prophets. I've also been preaching through the gospel, according to Matthew on Sunday evenings. Occasionally I'll do special sermons, but I always have a sermon image, for these things, and then sort of, that we go from there. And so, I've got several of them on here. If I go over to page, 5, for example, you can see, well, here's some special revival that we did last year. I preached a series on what a healthy church is and what have you. And, if you just sort of click on each of these, then right there is the audio for the sermon. And then if I have a notes guide, then I have the filled in notes guide there as well that people can have, and so that they can sort of follow along with it there. So that's just a little bit. We'll click here and then go back to New Hope, the main website here. So, all right. So if you want to build something like this, well, how do you do it? Now, I've used a WordPress site to be able to do this. There's a number of things that you could do. So you could use other builders, like, for example, Wix.com. Wix is a great site that's drag and drop, but there are some downsides that you need to know with Wix. If I just click on the get started here, that's not what I want up here. I want subscriptions. Here we go. Let's look at the plan. You can build a free website with Wix, but here's the thing: if you do a free website with Wix, then it might say newhope.wix.com. You're not going to have your own domain name with it. And here's the thing about this with Wix. If you want your own domain name, you can get that for $5 a month, but look at this. You're still going to have Wix ads on it. You get to remove those ads if you go up to $11 a month on here. But, it's not, you don't get a free domain name with it and all that until you go up to, $11 a month. And of course, you remember that this is, paid, yearly. So you're talking about $132 a year to be able to have that site. That's not a ton of money. And if you want a drag and drop environment, then Wix is the way for you. I'm not doing Wix. I am going to show you something much different. I'm going to show you how to use WordPress. And so, the site host that I use is called HostGator. All right. And so with them, you just go to their website hosting thing. It's hostgator.com. You can see the plans, but honestly, this $275 a month plan would probably be due for most small churches. You're not going to have a ton of stuff to put on here. Possibly your sermons. That would be your only thing that would do there. But, one of these would certainly do you. So a starter plan, you're looking at $275 a month. Well, if you do the math, $275 times 12, what? That's $33. So for $33 a year, you get a free domain name included in that. So look at that. For $33 a year, you can build a website. So that's what I advocate, and I'm going to show you how to do. So you would just need to click on Buy Now on one of these plans that you want to do. Decide what you'll do. You'll have to pay for the information with a credit card. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to type in whatever your domain name is. And so, again, I'm not going to go through all the steps of signing up. You can do that yourself. But once you get everything signed up, they will email you a confirmation email, and they'll email you some information about how to log in. you'll log into here to something called your control panel. And so if I just go over here to my control panel, it'll come up to a page like this. It comes with webmail as well, but my control panel is on here, and I just use the username and password that they give me to be able to log into that. It takes me to a control panel like this. Now, from this control panel, if you're going to do work, you can do a lot of things. You can do more than just WordPress, but WordPress is what I'm going to show you. So here's what we're going to do. Let's say build a new WordPress site. All right, so I'm going to click on build a new WordPress site, and it's very easy to do that little number with it. All right, so first off, after you've got your domain name chosen in here, again, I've got a lot of domains connected to mine, but what I'm going to do is just do my michaelwilhite.net site so that I don't mess anything up on my church website per se. I'll do michaelwilhite.net. That's where all of my sermons are out on. So this page is michaelwilhite.net. Again, that's my personal blog and things like that I do. So I'm going to choose that, and I'll choose a directory. Now, if you're wanting it to be your main page, don't put anything in this directory. All right, just choose your domain name, and that'll make it install over that. But I'm just going to say test. All right, so because I want to install it in a directory, and then I can delete it later on after this training is over with. So click next. All right, and so we're going to say New Hope Church. All right, if I can learn how to spell, it would be helpful. And so the user, we might just say, would be New Hope, and we'll say Pastor Michael. It doesn't really matter who the username is on here for that. All right, and so I will just type in the website, the email, and again, feel free to email me. Leave this checked. Automatically create a new database for this installation. If you don't create a database for it, it's going to be a pain in the rear end. Just leave that checked. Let them create it. Click agree to the terms of service here. What in the world happened over here? For goodness sakes. All right. So this just shows you that sometimes there's a little bit. Oh, I clicked on it rather than clicking the checkbox. So there you go. All right. New Hope Church. Oh, I can't spell today. Good grief. New Hope Church. New Hope. Pastor Michael. There I am. All right. So now all I got to do is click over here on install. And right up at the top, WordPress is installing. So it's going to do all of the work for me here. And it'll take just a little bit. And there it is. Installation is now complete. And so it gives me my installation details down here. So there's my username and my password with that. And by the time this is published, this is not going to be valid. So just keep that in mind. And if you're thinking, well, I could go in, I could log in and test it on this. No, I'm going to have it taken down by that time. So just so you know. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. And just my username is New Hope. So I'm going to go back over to here. It just has a coming soon page here for right now. So I click on login. And we're going to go New Hope, and then I'm just going to paste in the information that I had and click login. And then it will log me into my dashboard from there. And this on the dashboard is this is the information that we are going to. This is where everything is going to be done to control the site. So grab a drink of water there. Getting thirsty here. We are 33 minutes into this. We may end up going more than an hour, but I'm going to take some time here to do what we need to show you how to do all this. All right. So the first thing that you want to do is your site is currently displaying a coming soon page. Once you're ready to launch your site, click here. I'm going to go ahead and click here to launch the page. So that way that coming soon site is down. That's going to do me two things. michaelwilhite.net/test. If I go back to this page, there it is. And see, there's what my website currently looks like right now. This will allow me to come here and click refresh and see the changes as we go. So let me show you how to do a number of the things that I have done with my website. So let me pull up my plugins list and drag this over here. So these are all the plugins and the themes that I use for the New Hope Baptist website. I'm using a theme called Giving Press Lite. So I want to install that theme, and I'll talk to you about themes in just a minute. But I wanted to just pull these up here. These are the plugins that I am using on the page. So if you go to view it, and whenever you're looking for those plugins, that you can go back to this video and you can just sort of stop this and write those down, and you'll know where to find it. I wanted to make sure that I did that for you. So the very first thing is I want to get the theme that I want to use. This is an OK theme. You can change this background image if you want, but I want to install a new theme. A theme is what your church looks like. And here's the power here behind WordPress. There are millions of themes out there. Some of them you have to pay for, but a lot of them are free. If I go over here, you'll see a bunch of different things. Posts, this is where my blog post stuff would go. Pages is where all of our information is going to go under here. In a little bit, we're creating a website, not a blog. So we're going to use Pages, and I'll show you how to do with this. The appearance is what we want to do. This is where we'll build our menus at that you see at the top of these. The menu would be the items like this, and how we put that. I'll show you how to do that as we go through out here as well. But under appearance, we'll go themes. All right. This is where we're going to change the themes at. And so this shows you the themes that came installed with it. So this active theme is 2017. WordPress puts a new one every year, but 2015, 2016, and 2017, those are 3 unique themes that are out there. Well, I would like to add a new theme, so I'm just going to click on this, add new theme, and it takes you over to this. And these are all WordPress.org free themes that you can find. And as I said, there are literally hundreds of them. You can go over here to search. And so what I'm going to search is Giving Press Lite. And as I do that, there it is. This is the theme that I'm using. So hover over that, and you can preview it if you want, but I just click Install. And I'm going to install that theme on it. All right. Now that it's installed, I want to click Activate. And whenever I do that, it's going to navigate me back to the themes page over here, and we'll customize that theme here in just a minute. We'll talk about what that button is. Let's go back out here, and I want to show you that the theme changed as soon as I did that. I activated it. Notice that it changed much different. And so now this is the same theme that I am using on. Well, there you see, right up there. There's your contact info, and notice that it looks very similar to the New Hope. Now, I've made some changes. This is in green. I've went and I've actually edited the files in mine to be able to do that. Most aren't going to be able to do that. But that's just goes to show you, if you can learn a little bit of things, you can really customize a website. But I'm just going to show you how to install a theme and basically put some content out here and use it. All right. Again, going to go through these things fairly fast, folks, but that's the power of having this on a recorded video. Because with a recorded video, you can just stop these things and go back and view this as many times as you want. So the first thing that I want to do, this is pretty blank. So I want to change this picture that's up here, and I want to start creating some pages. And so on my page up here, I've got a logo up here that I want to put in for New Hope. And then I've got this picture of the baptism, and I've got some wording that's here and all that. So, and then I've got all of these pages. We want to add those kinds of things back in. So the first thing I'm going to do is back over here under your themes. Again, this is under appearance and then themes. You find your active theme, and this is Giving Press Lite, again, is what this is called. Click on Customize. This is going to take you to a page where you can customize certain things about that theme. And I'm going to show you how easy it is. And the great thing about this is, too, it comes with a visual editor so that in real time, without having to publish the changes, you can see exactly what it is you are doing. So see, it gives you some examples here on what this is going to be. So first off, let me go theme options. The contact info bar, that's this up at the top. And so if I want to change that, then I'll change it to 6511 East State Road 70, Grandview, Indiana, 47615. And whenever I click out of here and go down, notice it changed up to here. Now, if I refreshed on this, it wouldn't have changed yet because I've not saved it yet. But it's refreshing this in real time. And so then, again, I'm going to put my personal email that I use for all the church things. And then we'll put the church's phone number in here as well. And there you go. And you notice as I click off of this, that those things have all changed. Now don't click the X. If you click the X, that takes you out of there and your changes are not saved yet. If you click publish, when you click publish, anytime, it's going to actually change it right out to the site. So after I click published here, I've not made any more changes. It says published. Go out here, and it's going to change from Hawaii and info@givingpress.com. Watch as I refresh this, what it does. And now you see my current contact information is now out there. So just like that, I'm customizing the template. I'm building it. Don't click that X. You still want to customize. Click that arrow here, and you go back. Now I want the homepage options here. Where it says donations are welcome. Enter a brief message about accepting donations for your website and link. I don't want any of this information out there, and so you can edit that as you see fit. What I have done is just not had any of that. Underneath of let's see, homepage settings down here, I want a static page. Home is what it's going to be, but I have to go create it first, I believe, in order to get that. So. Let's see. It does have some basic. Information whenever you already install it here, but we will go back and take care of that. So I'll show you. We'll get to that last. All right. Let's look at the header image. All right. That's this thing right here. Click on hide that image. Guess what? It's gone. Goodbye. It replaces it with this ugly color though. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, all right, I want to add a new image here. And here's what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the image that I put on the website already, the baptism here. You're going to select it, and then you can crop it. And you can crop it as you see fit down here. And so what I'm going to do is just sort of go like this. That looks pretty good to me. Click on crop image. I don't want to make it too awful wide on here. And watch what it does. All right, and there it is. All right. And we'll talk about this wording that's on here as well. Notice how everything's got icons by it where you can click it. If you click that, it automatically goes over to here. This is underneath of the site identity. So that's your second option underneath of this. You click on site identity. You can put a logo there, or you can change the tagline and say, what I did is I put our vision statement on there. And so we glorify God by making disciples who are rooted, growing, and fruitful. That's our vision. And so notice it changed it as I did this. You can make it left or you can make it right aligned if you want. That right align puts it way over here, or supposed to anyway. I want to do center align. I want it to center because I think it looks a little bit better. It's not doing it in the preview for whatever the reason, but if I click on publish, and now I go back out here, and I just refresh this, well, it's supposed to have made it centered out here, but for some reason it did not. Oh, that's your logo align, dummy. Site description align is center. So the logo, what it did is it changed this out here. I'm going to want my logo to be left, so I'm going to take that back. But now, as I do this, you notice that's centered. Now I can select a logo here too, and I'll go ahead and upload the New Hope Baptist logo here. And we can put that in here, and I'll show you how easy it is. I want to select it. By default, anytime you add something, it wants you to crop the doggone thing. I don't want to crop it though. So just skip cropping. And now that puts my logo out there. And watch what it does. Instead of saying New Hope Baptist Church, it's that. You can also change the logo size if you really want to as well. Cool thing about this, this is what it looks like on your desktop. But down here, here's your tablet view of what it might look like on a tablet. And here's a view of what it would look like on your mobile phone. So you get the idea down here that you're previewing this as you go. And so you notice it looks okay here, but it looks really great. That logo is really nice and big on a mobile phone, which is what I want. So I'll click publish on this again. I'll take it back out to the website over here, show you what we did. And so now this should be centered. It is, and there is your logo. And that's a little too big for me, in my opinion. So I'm going to go back to customize, and I'm actually going to make this logo a little smaller up here, something like that. And then I'll publish it, and we will go back out over to here, and we will see just exactly what it does. And there we go. Now it's a more respectable size. I want the logo to not look funky. I want it to be on there. I want it to look good, but I don't want it to be so overbearing. And so now you've got that on there. And so if we start to check these things out here, and let's just kind of compare it. So there is the logo. Right over here to the side, it's a little bit smaller than what I've gotten over here, but it's a little bit comparable. But then again, you see kind of this same thing. My cropping is a little bit different on this, but you get the idea. We're doing sort of the same thing here with it. Now, what other things would we want to change on here? If you want a side icon, notice Notice how in this it has this little icon right by it. You can change that right here. Select the image. What I did is I just selected my logo with it there, and I just did this so that I centered it kind of on the tree. This is what the icon will appear. You're not going to be able to read it very well, but you crop that image and you do that and you select it, and now you click publish. And watch what happens here whenever you go to this and you refresh it. Now, because you've got a side icon in there, it reflects it over here in this tab. May not do this on every browser, but it does it on Chrome, which is the primary browser now. Internet Explorer has waned in popularity, but there it is. And so you've got that little thing going on with it there as well. So there's all kinds of things that you can do here. We've done the site identity. You can change the color if you wanted to. So if I wanted to change this header color up here in general, let's just say I wanted to change this to this kind of a green or something like that. I don't, because this logo is on a white background, but just for sake of showing you, if I wanted to do, this is the text color, here's the background color. Maybe I wanted to change that. It kind of shows you, what's going on down here in a live preview with this. All right. So header image, again, we've already taken care of the header image so that we can get out of that. You can have a background image if you really want. I didn't, but there it is. Menus. What you need to do is we will need to have some navigation. This is where you control your menus. We'll come back to that when the time is done. Widgets, sort of the same way. So we'll publish. We'll save all those changes. Now I'm going to click X and get out of this, and we're going to go back and we're going to actually build some pages and put some content on here. And so this is what we've got with it so far on here. All right. So now let's go out here and say I want to build this this home page like this. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into my dashboard for New Hope, and I'm going to show you what I've already got in, and then we'll come back over and build it. So if I clicked on Pages over here on my dashboard for my actual site, now you see all of the pages that are here, and Home is one of those. And so if I click on Home in here, the great thing about this, it comes up with a visual editor for it, and all this information is there. You can edit the text and the HTML and all that if you really want to as well. In this case, I'm going to do that and sort of copy, and we'll do that here in just a minute. I need to install this program, Smart Slider 3, if I'm going to have that slider out on the home page, and so I'll have to do that here in just a little bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Pages over here in my new site that I'm building, and I don't have much of anything right now, so I'm going to get rid of all of the rest of these pages, and to do that, I'm selecting the ones that I want. Bulk actions, move to trash, click apply. Boom, those boogers are gone once the page refreshes here. And if I go back, by the way, here to the new page here and click on this, notice that those are all gone from the menu now because I deleted those pages. All right, so let's edit the home page then first, and then we'll move into the others. Let's edit the home page here. So all I'm going to do is go over to this, and I'm just going to do this little number. And that saves me from having to do some things in here, but it's really easy. This is just a word processing type thing in here. So let's say, for example, I'll just remove these links here and just sort of show you. If I wanted to do this, all I need to do is say Sundays at 10:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. And if I wanted to do that, I can change, by the way. Toggle toolbar, this gives me more options down here. If I just highlight those, I can say I want to keep it at heading 4. This is just your sizes of the text. You can just kind of experiment around there with your theme to do what you want. In this case, though, I'd like to bold, and I'd like to put italics, and I'd like to change that to green. And now I've got the same exact thing as I did down there. And that's how you do that. It's just very easy. If you can do it in Microsoft Word, you can do it in this editor. It's extremely simple. So what I want to do here, though, is I want to link up to that site. Well, I can't do it yet because I'm building the page from it. So I've got to build the other pages first. But what I want to do, and by the way, this is just a YouTube video that all I've done is I've got the YouTube source code out there from YouTube and pop that in. So that might be a good thing to sort of show you how to do. Let me go to YouTube. And I do multiple channels here. So let me switch account over to Pastor Michael Wilhite, and this is where we are over here. And I am going to go then to my channel and videos. And here's my Welcome to New Hope video right there. All right. And that's the one that I am on here for. So if I want to embed that video, I go down to here and I click Share like this. And I want to click Embed. And then boom, right there. All I have to do is just click into that right there and just click Copy. Or if you've got the whole thing hidden, Control+C does the same exact thing on it. And then whenever I go back here to my edit page then, I can do the same thing here. And now this I've done a little bit differently. I've changed it. I wanted it 460 by 258. So I just changed my information, but there it is. You see it? Right there it is. And it makes it 560 by 315. But, you know, I made it a little bit different dimensions on there, but it does the same thing. And that's how I got the code to be able to do this. So, all right, we'll click Update on this then, and that will update the home page. And so if we go back out here, we click on our logo to go back home. And now watch what we've got going on. And you say, well, nothing changed here because I've got some settings that I need to change over here. So appearance, let's see, let's go back out to this. Tone template is the home page. Yeah, sometimes it is just a bear to deal with, but you do it. You go to Theme Options, Homepage Options. Let me get rid of all this stuff. That gets rid of that. Homepage settings. All right. I love it when things don't work like they're supposed to. But this is a good test for you of how things don't always want to work. All right. So that got rid of that, but it didn't put my home page in with it. So let me go back here and see what's going on. Let's go back into Pages first off, and let's make sure that this is chosen as our front page here. All right. So if I do a quick edit here, let's go into Settings and General. This is where you would edit your site title and your taglines and all of those other good things. Maybe it's under Writing. Mercy sakes. Reading. We're going to find it here. There it is. Your home page displays a static page. And it should be showing that. I'm going to click on Save Pages here. And we'll go back out and we'll see whether it does anything here or not. It does not. Tell you what we're going to do. In order to do this, we're going to go back over here. And we're just going to trash this all together. It's gone. And now I'm just going to go back over here and I'm going to add a new page. You click the Add New button. We'll call this Home. Home Site. Testing. And I'm going to click on Publish. Now I'm going to go back over here to Settings and I'm going to go to Reading. I want to tell it a static page. I want it to be home. I'm going to save those changes. There it is. I don't know what to tell you, folks. They shouldn't have made any difference there in that, other than sometimes when you're working on a website, you just have to try and try again and don't give up until you get it. And it takes you a little bit of some time to get it. But there you go. And now I got it again. And so now that's easy to do. I can come over here and I can just go back in there, edit any of those things that I want to, and I can be able to have that. All right. And now if I go under pages and I want to click a new page here as well like that, let's just click on, say, who is New Hope. All right. And this is where I can put some information, about who New Hope Baptist is, for example, just to kind of give you some ideas. So let's just sort of copy, let's just copy what's going on here. Let's just copy those first few things right there, paste them in, and then we'll publish that. And then let me show you, let's see, well, did it add to the new menu or not? It did not. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on your settings in there. So we'll have to go back and we'll add the menu in. But that's good. I want to get some things and I want to show you about that. Let me click on Add New again. Now the next thing that I want to do is we'll say is this opportunities for growth. All right. And so I'll just, again, I'm going to copy some information like that. And then I'm going to say opportunities growth. And there you go. And I'm going to click publish on that. And all I'm doing here is just adding some basic information in there. That's all you have to do. Again, it's a simple editor. Now let me show you how to get everything that you've done in these pages linked up on the menu, because that's another important thing. All right, so we go back under here. You're going to go to your appearance section and then go down here to menus. And then this is where you're going to visually edit this. All right. So this is what we're going to do now. All right. And so notice that this has, we're going to get rid of these and tell these, the ones in pink, those are because those are pages that we removed. You remember I deleted those pages earlier. So we're going to remove them out of here. Now look what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check both of these and click add to menu. You got different options here, most recent, or you can view all, or if you've got a ton of them, you can even search if you've got a bunch of your pages in there. Posts are there as well. Again, your posts are going to be more like your blog posts, which I'm not going to cover. We're really using pages here. But here's what we're going to do. All right. So I can say, well, who is New Hope? I can rename that to I'm New. All right. And then I can rename opportunities for growth to say plug in. All right. Now, if I click Save Menu, let me go back out here and just show you exactly what we did. And they're going to appear here. And there's I'm New and there's plug in. Now, there's no drop-down menus in here like it is up here. And that's because I've got to build my other pages first. So let me build a couple of more pages. Let me show you when and where do we meet. And let me just get you a couple of things. And again, you can type these in all you want, but I'm just copy and pasting off of mine for the sake of time. It's already 56 minutes into this video, right? So there it is. I'm gonna copy that over, and I'm gonna go back over here, and I'm going to page, and I'm gonna click on Add New. Go back over here, and we'll just enter the title in. When and where do we meet? And then Control V pastes. I've put this in here. The only thing I might do is change the coloring on these just to have a little bit of spice out there, because that's eventually how I'm gonna, that's the color scheme of the website with my logo and all that. Let's click on Publish, and we'll have that out here then. All right. One thing I ought to show you with that is how to get a Google map on here. All right. So notice that this has a Google map on here. All right. So if I click on View Larger Map, here's what it takes you out to. All right. So we're just taking out to Google Maps. I've got the home page that I'm on here. Here's what I want to do with this. I want to click on Share. All right. Embed a map. And then right there it is. This map is built for you. So all you do is you just say copy the HTML. That's copied. Now I go back here into my editor, and then I'm just going to go down right here under the text and copy that in, and watch what happened. Now I've embedded that map in there. I know I went through fast, but again, you can just rewind and look on that again. And again, you've got my contact information, so if you have questions, maybe I can help you walk through it. But that's how I get that map on the page. All right. Let me add another new page on here as well. All right, let me go back up here and let's say let's add what can I expect? just to build it as well. All right. So now we're going to do this, and we're going to copy. And we're going to go back over to here, and I'm going to say, what can I expect? And then I'm just going to Control V to paste it. Man, it even put the YouTube video in there. That's pretty cool. All right. It did not put the, it didn't put the picture in there, but that's okay. Maybe I want to change it or something like that. Click Publish. That's all I got to do. All right. Let me go back down to my menu. You remember where we get to the menus? Go to Appearance and then Menus. All right. So now we go back down here, and we'll click on View All. So this is all of the things that we've got here that we can choose from. Now, underneath of I'm New, I want to make this like what I've got over here, where I've got this as a drop-down menu. And so I want to put who is new, when and where do we meet, what can I expect, all that. So let's go back over to here, and I'm going to say, who is New Hope, when and where do I meet, what can I expect, and I'm going to click Add to Menu. Well, that puts them all at the bottom here. But what I can do is I want who is New Hope first. I'm just going to drag this and drop it up. Notice how it's indented. If it's to the side like this, watch what happens. Let me just go back out there and show you. All right. So we click on Home again. Watch all of these new options that have been added here. Well, it's because it's all even on the side here. Now watch what happens if I put who is New Hope in there. And if I say, what can I expect? When and where do we meet? Well, now I've put those underneath of Home. So I want to drag I'm New over here. Daggone it. There we go. Getting them. It's a little bit of a pain. You get used to it. Even I, who do this regularly, sometimes the mouse doesn't want to cooperate or whatever. Save that menu. There it is. And go back out here and then click on Home, and now look what changes. Now I only got 3, but if you hover over I'm New, there are all your changes, and they're all organized right there. So that's how you get that drop-down menu. That's how you make a very nice organized menu. And there again, you're using I'm New because you're putting yourself into the shoes of somebody else there. All right. Now I could do the same thing with plugin if I wanted to plug in stuff on here too. So I did opportunities for growth already, but if I wanted to do our children's ministry, for example, I could just come right down here. And I could copy this. Now, I'm not copying the pages. Add New. Children's Ministry. Paste. All right. Then I'll just click Publish. All I'm doing here is just getting some basic information here again. I'll do our vision, mission, and strategy. Things like this. So our vision, mission, and strategy here. This is who we are as a church and all of this. So let me again go up here, click on Add New. There's a button right here that you can do it. If you're under editing a page, you can add a new in there, or you can go over here and add it too. And so I'm going to say vision, mission, and strategy. Boom. There you go. All right. And so I can kind of make this how I want here. If I want to make these different color, I can do that. That's what I did on this other one, and you can just sort of do that, and then I can color coordinate them down to here, right? So I can do that, and then I can do that. And I can do that kind of a brown color there. And click Publish. And all I'm doing is I'm styling it up with some color to make it look decent, like what I've done over here. All right. Now that I've got that, and I could do the same thing too. If I wanted to do other things on here, I could do our discipleship pathway or our core values or things like this. But for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. Let me go back down to Menu. And again, let's build that menu and just sort of show you again. And I'm going to do View All over here. It shows you everything again, most recent, or I can search. There's your options here. But I'm looking under Pages because I'm making pages. If you're making posts, you can make it under post. Now you can build it with posts if you want to, but it's better to put it under pages, because if you ever want to do a blog, you want those separated out as not posts. All right, so let me just, as simple as that. I might do another video on putting a blog on your page as a supplement to this. But under plugin, let me click Opportunities for Growth, and let me click on Children's Ministry and Vision, Mission, and Strategy. All three of those things were things that I just put in. And all I'm going to do right here is say, okay, I want to plug those things in, and I want to indent them, and I'm going to save the menu. And now you can see how the structure this is over here. And if I go back onto the site that I'm building, lo and behold, there it is. And now plugin has these things. And if I click on them, if I click on Vision, Mission, and Strategy, there it is. And exactly like I saw it in there in the editor with all that, there it is. When and where do we meet? If I click on this, there you go. And there's your Google map. Now I don't have images in here. That's the one thing I didn't show you yet. I need to do that. So let me go back and just add a new page here. All right. Let me do one more under here. Let's do our, let's do our core values. All right. So I'm just going to copy this. Control-C copies. Go back over here and say our core values. Okay. Now I can style that up however in the world I want, where, you know, we're using this in green. And again, I like to have this in bold, and using these in a different color here, just to kind of help match the logo that I've got, and just to kind of break up some things on this as well. But now, you know, I want to put a picture here. So here's what I need to do. First off, I'm going to go get that picture. And so I'm going to drag this picture and drop that in to my desktop over here, and I'm going to go back over here, and right where I want it, I'm going to click on Add Media, and then all I need to do is upload files. I can select that file, or I can just take it right from my desktop and drop it in there to upload it, and there it is. And so I've uploaded it. I showed you how to upload it with the logo and that, but it's kind of the same way. You click on that and you click Insert into Page. There it is. It's a little big, so I can make this resizing down. Notice as you do this that you see there's your sizes in the gray box by your icon. So I don't want to make this, you know, too big, but I'll make this reasonable, and then all I need to do is click Publish, and lo and behold, there it is. Now as I do this, it does not add it automatically to the menu. Again, you got to come back out here over to Menu, but I'll add our core values. Click on it over here, and then I'm just going to indent that right underneath of plugin. Click Save Menu. And whenever I do that, then refresh the page out here, and there it'll be. And there will be our core values. And with the core values, there I've showed you how to do that, and almost like what we have on the regular page over there. And bada bing, bada boom, we made that out a little bit. All right, let's talk about some plugins here. Now, a plugin is basically something that can help you to extend the capabilities of your website. So with a plugin here, let me just click on plugins, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do that smart slider. That smart slider, if I go back to the main page, you'll see it. This is the smart slider right here. All right, this is a nice little thing to put on your website. And again, here's the list of plugins that I have. Let me just sort of shrink this up a little bit so that you can see. So Smart Slider 3 by Nextend is what this particular slider is. I use WP Forms Lite, Mobile Menu, Sermon Manager, and then Facebook Lightbox are the plugins that I am using out here. But let's do the Smart Slider 3. So plugins, what I want to do is I want to go here and I want to click Add New. And a plugin is just something that extends the capability of your website. But search for plugins. You go to the Add Plugins page. Let's search it. And so let's search Smart Slider 3. And let's let it come up. And the one that we are looking for is Smart Slider 3 by Nextend. And right there it is. It's this one right here. Click on that Install Now. And by clicking on Install Now, now what it's doing is installing it onto my website. Let me click on Activate. All right. Whenever I click on Activate, Now that plugin is going to be activated, and you're going to see a new menu added over here eventually. You will see Smart Slider, I believe, as an option on this eventually. You can collapse the menu or move it back. It does not have it right now. So let me go back to the dashboard. There it is. And all I did was just refresh this menu, and there it is. So let me go back to Smart Slider. Now this is where I can control that. All right. So what I want to do is I want to go down here and tell it, okay, I want to create a new slider. Let me give the slider a name. And so I'm going to say Homepage Slider. All right. You can tell it how big you want it. You want it to be 1200 or wide by 500. That's a little big. Let me take you into my settings over for Smart Slider on this down here, and it'll kind of give us an idea of how I built that. All right, so front page is what I called it. I'm going to click Edit here, and you can see then the slider settings here that I've got here. It's actually 700 by 400 is what I chose. All right, let me get out of this. Let me get out of that. Let me go back down here where I keep these. So 700 by 400. All right, 700, 400. Now what it's going to do is you can choose different ones. There's your default, full width, but what I did is the thumbnail. And that thumbnail, what it does on this one, it has these little thumbnails at the bottom. And so that's what I like about it. Now I click Create. Now if you don't want the thumbnails, you can do it without it. So this is your site. You can do what you want to with it. It's just how I particularly liked it. All right. It takes me over to this homepage slider now. So I need to add some slides. All right. So I'm going to add slide 1. Go into my media library, and then here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, okay, so here is let me just add a couple things. So here's my chili cook-off, and I'll just add my apologetics workshop chili cook-off event slider. There that is. All right. I can tell this to show only errors if I want to, and I won't have these things come back up here anymore. Click on Add Slide, and there you go with, and there you'll go with another one. Add slide. I want another image. All right. So now I'm going to add my Matthew sermon series graphic on here, and there it is. And I click Select, and there it is. And I want to add another slide. I want to add another image. All right. Let me find another image to do this. Yes, let me add the revival image into this. Here's my traveling revival. That'll at least give me 3 to play around with, and that'll probably then be enough where we can add the slider to it. And if I really wanted to, I could add other sermon graphics, things that I've done, make a nice slider, but I've saved it. In each of these, you can add the settings to it. So if I had a sermon page set up, or if I had some information on this, if you click on Edit over any of these slides, it'll take you to it. And if you click on this little settings button right below it, right there, link, you just paste your link to your website into that, and you got it. So let me just show you, like on Blueprints. This is I'm preaching through 1 Timothy, a series called Blueprints for a Gospel-Centered Church. There's what that image looks like. But if I click on Settings, there's my link to it. And so if I were to go back out to here underneath of this one, and you click on that, here's what it does. And it takes me to the sermons page. And the idea is whenever I have my sermons out there, you'll be able to listen to the audio. So you've got a link that takes you someplace with that. That's all that does. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click Save on this little booger. All right. And so we're going to go back out here to Slider. Click on the slider here. And there's your home page slider. And shortcode is what you're looking for. Copy and paste this shortcode into your posts. All right. I'm going to copy that. Now here's what I need to do. I need to go back over pages. And let's go back to the home page. All right. Eventually it'll get me back to the home page. Come on. You can do it. There you go. All right. So I'm going to go back here to the home page. All right. And now, home site, testing. All right. Let me get out of this. I'm going to add that in there. And then I'm just going to say Sundays at 10:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. 6511 East State Road 70, Grandview, Indiana 47615. All right. If you don't want them to be that much, hit Shift and Enter, and I'll only put one line below. A little pro tip there for you. So this is what I'm going to do, is I'll make this, say, heading 4. But whenever you hit Control or Shift Enter down, it's a soft return. It makes them both that way. So if I don't want them to be that way, then then you hit the regular enter, and I'll just make that regular old paragraph if I wanted to, for example. So this is just to show you an example of how you can edit it. And maybe I want italicized for that. And maybe I want this to be like heading 6 with a green and bold italic as well, just to make it a little smaller there. All right. And I might want to put my YouTube video in here or whatever, but we'll just click update on this. And when I click update on it, let's go back out to here now, and let's see how it, instead of home site testing, now look what it's done. And now you have the slider on there. All right. And it's not moving right now like my other one is, but there it is. So let me go back into the settings. All right. Let me go back into the settings for the smart slider. All right. There it is down here. Click on Smart Slider. Go back down, and we're going to Homepage Slider, Edit. And we need to change some of the settings in here as well. All right. Autoplay. Yes, I want to enable autoplay. All right. And click Save. And you can choose whether you want, whenever you hover over it, do you not want any navigation? Or do you want this kind of navigation or that? All right. So I've saved it. And now let me go back out here to the page. Let me just refresh it, and we'll see what it does. And there you go. Now watch, after a certain little length of time here, what we'll see is this is going to start playing automatically. And there it goes. And you're sliding over. You can control the number of seconds in between that. Again, right there by, it's the number of milliseconds under autoplay. And so if I want to shorten it up, I could say 4,000 milliseconds instead of 8,000, and I've reduced the time in half from whenever you can slide it on there. So there's all kinds of options that you can do to customize this little booger to get it to be the exact way that you want with this. All right, but there you go. Now we're starting to build the homepage and get it to look good. Doesn't dwell on any one too long without moving. There's your homepage slider. And again, I could, if I wanted to build the homepage exactly as I've got here, then I would, put the graphic and all and the YouTube video, but I've already showed you how to do that. So you can do those things on your own. Let me show you how to put widgets over at the side. This is another important thing that you'll want to do. Right now I've got these posts and other things. I wanted to get it looking a little smarter than that. So let me get out of this. Let me go back over to where I'm supposed to be here. All right, so let's go over to Appearance, and then we'll click on Widgets. And we're going to get those particular widgets that you're going to need to do. So the default sidebar, what I need to do is I need to delete all these. All right, and so I'm going to delete all of these boogers that are installed on it already. I don't want any of them out there. I want my own thing out there on it. All right, and eventually they'll go. And then that's whenever I'll be able to put whatever else I want out here, and I'll show you sort of how I did this. Your meta, that's right here, by the way, is your login information. I don't like to have it out there. No one's going to log in but me. Again, you don't really sort of need it out there. So there's nothing on the sidebar out there right now. But what I can do is I want a custom HTML. All right. I don't need a title for this, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a link to this image here. All right. And if you know how to do HTML, this is where you can put those images out there and do some things with that. If you don't know how to do HTML, you might not be able to do this very easy. But all I did is just linked to this image. And so if you know HTML, I'm not going to teach it to you, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. The video is already getting too long. But that's an option for you if you do it. So what I need to do here is I need to go into plugins, and I need to add a new plugin. All right, and it's time that we install the Facebook Like box. Let me at least show you how to get that on the side so you can link up your social media. Let's search for this. Facebook like box. And I'm looking for the one by Vinod Cardoza. And right here it is. That's the one that I'm doing. So I'm going to click install. These other ones that are on here may be perfectly fine. They're just not the ones that I did. So now I need to click on install, and it'll add some new information here in for it that I need to do. It's going to take me over to this page. This is going to have this is going to be all my settings for it. And you notice underneath of settings, it's added a Facebook like box down here at this. And so title, I'm going to say maybe like us on Facebook. Now I want the Facebook URL of the page that they want to like. So that's where I've got to go back out to Facebook here. And I'm going to go to New Hope Baptist Newtonville. And this is mine. I'm just going to copy the link up here at the top, Control C. Go back up into here. Here's my Facebook page URL. That's what I want it to show there. I can define a width if I want to. There it is, and it shows you sort of what it's looking like by doing that there. Let me go back into what I did with this other one, settings and Facebook like box, so that I can kind of replicate it real quick without guesswork here. On the other one, so I didn't put those in at all. Just show faces, and we were good to go. So if I don't need to do anything else, then we will click save. That's good to know. And let's then go back out to appearance. We'll go back out to widgets. We can modify this again as we've needed. But now over here you will have an option somewhere on here. If I can find it, Facebook like box, you click on that and you are just dragging it up. And I'm going to drag it right on top of this and click and done. And you should be good to go then. And if I go back out here then, I click on new, there it is. It auto-saved. And there you see there's like us on Facebook. And so it's very similar to what you see on this one. All right? Like us on Facebook, there it is. There it is for you, folks. All right, it was pretty easy to get that widget on there, wasn't it? WordPress is not as bad as it seems. All right. Let me look at some other things that I might want to do here. Let me show you how to make a contact form. So I want to go back here and I want to add another plugin here. I'm going to do a plugin and I'm going to add new. And I'm going to add WP Forms Lite because it is the easiest and the best to do contact forms and things in. WP Forms Lite. And okay. Let me just type in WP Forms. Sometimes I'm having trouble finding it here, and maybe they have updated. WP Mail, I don't want contact form. This is what it is right here. Okay, so it looks like it's already installed and active, so that's good to know. So this particular, that's why I couldn't find it, because this particular installation of WordPress already has it over here. Well, that's good to know. All right, so we're going to go to settings. Hold on. Where's my WP Forms add on this? I see WP Forms has its own thing on here. That's why I don't think this is installed. Sometimes, well, there it is. But it's not over here on my new one like it is supposed to be. Ah, the great mystery of everything. Oh, there it is right up here. I'm just stupid and didn't ignore it. All right, well, here we go. Go to WP Forms. I'm sorry. It's 9:30 as I'm recording this right now, so sometimes things get done. All right, so I'm going to click on Add New up here, and what I'm going to do is just say Contact Page. All right, so for name would be Contact Us. This is just so that I can know for it. And you can select a template. You can do a blank one and build it yourself. But if all I need is a simple contact form, I'm just going to click on this, tell it to create a simple contact form for me, and look what it does automatically. name, first and last email, and message, and a submit button. That is really all I need in a contact form, and it already built it for me. The only thing I need to do is go here into settings, and underneath general, the confirmation, this is where I can change what they'll see after it's done. Thanks for contacting us. We'll be in touch with you shortly. I might change that to say, our pastor will get with you soon. Something to that effect. All right. Now all I need to go up here is save this. All right. And so now you click on this embed right here, and yeah, there's is what it shows you to do. If I just click copy on this, all I did was select everything, right click, copy, or just hit Control C on your keyboard. Does the exact same thing. All right. So here's what we need to do. We need to hit the X button out of this, and let's go back over into here. And I'm going to make a new page. I'm going to go over here to say add new, and I'm going to say contact us. I'll just call it contact, and then just paste that right in there and click on publish. All right. And so now then I'm going to go back underneath of appearance. Remember, I need to go to the menu, and I need to link this up. And I just want to add it to the menu. It'll automatically default it to the bottom, which is actually where I want it. So I'll save menu. And whenever I go back out here to the website, here's all I have to do. Click on this. Contact's on the end of it. And if I click on contact, there we go. There is a contact form. And that will, whenever someone contacts you with this form, what it will do is it will default send this as an email to whatever email you chose whenever you set WordPress up. So in my case, I set my personal email in here, and that's what every contact that's going to come from this page is going to go right into. Not hard. And now you've made a simple contact form for people to get in touch with you very easily on your website. All right. If you want to do a mobile menu, the mobile menu by Takanumi is another good one as well. That is this little menu up here, and it'll give you the options for there. I'm not going to take you in to show you how to do this. That's just another option, a little optional extra. But again, that's what this mobile menu by Takanakui is, if I'm pronouncing that right. And it's a great little thing, but just play with it and play with the settings, and you'll be able to get it. Sermon Manager for WordPress by WP for Church is what I do for all of my sermons. So again, you would just search that and install it as you do. But let me just go back here into this. And actually what I want to do is let me just, hold on. I'm clicking the wrong thing here. Nope, I don't want to customize that page. Okay. Go to my dashboard here. Go to my dashboard for the blog page. And over here, whenever you install it, it's going to have a little sermons thing over to the side. And so if I click on this, here's how easy things are. And so these are all the sermons that I've got. And I've got like 3 pages worth so far because I've got a number of sermons out there already. But all you have to do is click on Add New. And you know, you get your sermons out there, and you give it your title, and you can put the date preached and service types. You can set up those service types in the settings. You can modify them by clicking there. Main Bible passage, you can type up a description or put your notes guide picture in there. Location area MP3, you just add your sermon audio there. All you do is you sort of drag and drop it, and you can see all the audios that I have sort of linked up to it. You can also have a sermon image that you can put, that you can select the sermon image that if you wanted to for it, I could say, yeah, I'll use that one. And then there's the image. And I could say, well, this one came from the book of Matthew. I can add the book of Matthew, a topic if you wanted to. You can click on choose the most used tags, and then here's the most used tags for all that I've done. And you can use what series you're in. And preachers, again, if you have multiple preachers, this is helpful for me. We've only had 2 on here. Aaron, this gentleman was our revivalist. Aaron was, and so I recorded the sermons and put on here. But, you know, I always just click on that to keep it consistent instead of having to type it over again. It makes it a little easier. But when you're done, then you just click publish, and it automatically publishes the sermon out there on the website for you there. So what you need to do to get this set up, once you do there is settings, the archive page slug there is sermons. And so in other words, your page domain name /sermons will take you to that. automatically. And then you can just use that as a way to sort of link up your page from there. All right. So just, that's a great way to organize your sermons if you've got space to be able to do those as well. So I've talked about the Sermon Manager, the Facebook like box. We've done the Smart Slider. We've done the forms. Again, there's that mobile menu if you wanted to be able to sort of do anything. So it's not very hard. And by the way, if I wanted this junk down off the bottom, gone off of this in order to get it, all I need to do is just go over to widgets, and that's another widget area that's down here. And so footer widgets, there it is right there. And if I just delete those doggone footer widgets, I could get rid of all those footer widgets too. So it's just when it installed the sample data for it, for this particular site, you can just go and delete that sample data out, and there you go. And if I were to go back over to here now and just click refresh, all that at the bottom is now gone. And so I can click over here at the top, and there you see it, and there's a decent little page. Now, you need to add more content. You can do a lot more tweaking. You can get rid of this search bar up at the top if you don't want to. If you go into your customize of your theme, appearance, and then customize, that's one of your options that's in here. If you want to get rid of that search bar, you can. Theme options somewhere in here. Contact info bar, display search field, uncheck that, and then that's gone. And then just re-click publish out here and go back out, and there you'll see that thing goes away. So that's another one of the features of it that you can control. But the great thing about WordPress is you can control so incredibly much on a site like this. All right. Well, folks, that's WordPress. That's WordPress used. This is not the only theme that you can use. There are hundreds and millions of themes that you can have. Some of them are out there, and some of them are out there for free. Many of them are paid. You can use a paid one, but you can also just customize a free one and have a fantastic website. And again, if you go to HostGator and you do that for $275 a month, well, this is billed for 2 years. So if you build it yearly, then it's $3.13 per month. Well, if you do that, so that makes it a little bit higher, but that's still pretty good overall. So let's just do some math for fun, because I'm not good at math in my head. $3.13, 12 months out of the year, $37.56, and you've got a website. And everything that I have showed you otherwise is free on it. $37.56 to have your own church website for a year is not bad, and really is a great investment. So I hope that you have benefited from this training. And if I was able to be teaching you live on the 11th, and you're watching this video as a supplement to that, really glad that you came. If you've just found this search in YouTube, I hope it's been helpful to you as well. Contact me if you have questions, or comment below on the video. I'd love to help you out. I love to see churches have good websites. I really, I like to see the gospel going forward. I'm a pastor. I want to see people saved, coming into an intimate relationship with Jesus. And sometimes having a good quality church website to make your church appear to be relevant. We know that your church is relevant because the gospel of Jesus Christ is relevant. But we need to do everything that we can in our power to make our websites relevant to outsiders so that they will check us out. So I hope you have enjoyed this page, that you've enjoyed this training. Again, any of these things you can kind of go back and view. There's a lot more that I could teach you about WordPress, but that's a pretty good introduction to it to get you started. Just search for WordPress tutorials, and you can go into far more advanced things too. If you do want to know how to do a blog, I might be able to do a video on that at some point in time too. We'll just have to see, but we will end it here for now, at least for the way things are going, I think. So, we've been going an hour and 32 minutes, and if you've watched the whole thing, you're a trooper. But go back and view this as often as you want, and may God bless you as you go out and go forward with the gospel on your website. Let me pray for you real quick, and then we'll end it. Father, I just pray for everyone viewing this video, that as they set up their website for the glory of the Lord, that you would use their efforts, give them wisdom, give them clarity, Father. And we pray that the gospel would be able to go forward with great power, and that even millions of visitors would come to churches all across America as a result of church churches building websites from this training and inviting lost people in to hear the gospel and respond in faith and be saved. So Lord, we pray that you'll do this great work. Bless each person who's watching this. And God, we just ask all this thing in Jesus' precious name and for his glory. Amen. Thanks for watching, folks.